Hi everyone, I'm Minister Ginger London. Thank you so much for being part of the Royal Exchange year-end 95 days challenge. We are well underway. We have maybe about 30 or 40 more days to go. This has been a long challenge, but I want you to finish strong this year and position yourself to to begin even stronger next year. So right now we're in the days 63 through 69. We're doing 7 days where we're talking about time management, how to manage your time to make every moment count. And that's where you become strong, is when you can look back over this year, look at where you missed the mark at not making every moment count, not managing your time well, not doing well with avoiding distractions, and making the most of the time that you were given. So we still have a few more weeks and a month and a half, I guess you will, to close this year out strong, and you can really get a handle on time management. Don't wait till the top of next year and have that as a New Year's resolution, where you make a New Year's resolution. I'm gonna do better this year with my time. I'm gonna manage my time better so I can get more done. Start positioning yourself and disciplining yourself right now to make every moment count, to learn how to manage your time. So we've heard all sorts of things in the across the board. You can't manage time, all sorts of things, so however you want to say it, I'm going to make the best, I'm going to make every moment count, I'm going to make the best use of my time. However you want to say it. You still want to say time management, then do that, where you're overseeing how you are spending every moment of your day. And I don't mean become fanatical about it. I mean become disciplined to know that the majority of the time that you've given in every 24-hour day, you have used it to the best of your ability, and you have used it to your greatest potential, and you're waiting on the next day so you can do exactly the same thing. So this is the teleseminar for the next 7 days. There will be worksheets that you must download, and when you're watching this video, I want you to do the worksheets, and I'll let you know as we go through this training when to use those worksheets. So when you're using the worksheets, make sure you pause the video and actually do the worksheets. I want you to participate. I want you to be engaged. I want you to be interactive, not just watching this video and then say, oh, that was nice. I want you to challenge yourself to really become a major part in you developing a better habit. So get into a success ritual, whether it's your personal life, whether it's business, ministry, whether it's your career. Become active in engaging in the success that you want to see for your life. So there are some worksheets that you are to download, and again, I'll let you know on this training. Pause the video, turn the video off, take a few minutes to work on the worksheet, take a couple of days to work on the worksheet, come back, pick it up where you left off, and keep moving. Don't try to rush through it. Take your time, because most of you need to identify where you have holes in the bags, holes in your bag of time. Okay, so you want to know where your time is being leaked out. What's causing the leak? What's causing the distraction? What's causing your day to go all the way to the end of the day and it's not productive? You're beating yourself up saying, I should have done more. So I want you to learn how to really recognize those things. So let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about several things, and again, I want you to pause this video whenever you need to pause it. Pause it at the slide that you need to pause it. Think about it, ponder it, mull over it, pray over it. Do what you have to do. Maybe you are a learner that will watch it all the way through and then come back and you're going to watch it again. And then you're going to work through all the necessary steps. So here's the agenda for the training video. We're going to talk about how to organize your time. Then I'm going to talk about how to prioritize your tasks, and then how to eliminate distractions. And so that's a lot. So that's why it's over 7 days. I want you to take your time, because we're talking about 3 critical areas of your life, 3 critical areas of your time management, if you will. Organizing your time, prioritizing your tasks, and then eliminating distraction. Sometimes you can have your tasks prioritized, and then when somebody calls with a phone call saying I have an emergency, or can I talk to you for a few minutes, and a few minutes turns into an hour and a half, now that's a distraction, and you haven't made the best of that particular time. You have to, if you heard me on the previous teachings, you have to get to a place where you have a prescribed answer for those distractions or statements for people who are calling, who just insist on talking with you, meeting with you, seeing you, those kind of things. You have to let people know where your priority is, and that you'll get back with them a little later. There are times when a person will be in a crisis situation, and you will have to stop and help that person. But if it's a pattern with a particular person, you really have to control that. And you have to say, my priority is the success of my life. My priority is my family. I'm trying to strengthen my family. My priority is my career. I'm studying right now. I'm trying to get promoted. Whatever it is. And when you train people how to treat you, then they begin to respect that and honor that. So let's move right on. So let's talk about so much to do and so little time. And I'm sure you've heard that before. We've all used that term. We've heard other people use it. And that can be true, for some people. But remember, we all have the same amount of time allocated to us every day, 24 hours. So you may have a lot to do, but you still have the same 24 hours each day to do it. Where you probably are falling short is you may have too much to do on one day and not enough to do on another day. So that's where we're going to teach you how to really prioritize your tasks, how to organize your time. You can't do everything in one day. You can't try to cram 3 days of work in one day. So you really have to learn how to strategically map out how you're going to do certain things. Even if you're working on a project, I know you can get into the crunch time and feel like hey, I got to work even longer. But even longer means, okay, normally if I work 8 hours a day on this project and I'm in the crunch time, I may go from 8 hours to now I have to work a 12-hour day to pull this project off. That's a little different than trying to work 24 hours every day trying to pull the project off, or 15 hours every day trying to pull the project off, and then here I am 2 days before it's due and it's still not completed. That means somewhere in there has been some mismanagement of something that has you at the place where you still have not completed, or you're not at the finishing point of that project. So that's a saying, so much to do in so little time. It's a saying that we hear people say. You may say it a lot. I've said it in the past. But when we look back over that, when we really critique that statement, we may have a lot to do, but we do have enough time to do it. So God did not give us anything that we cannot complete. And so make sure, as we go through this training video, that you really pay attention to each one of these areas so that you can start utilizing your time better to make every moment count. All right, so if you had to introduce yourself to someone, and I'm going to bring this up on the screen so you can see it a little bit better. If you had to introduce yourself to a group of people, I want you to look at these traits. Which 5 of these pieces of information would you choose to share with anybody? If you had to only pick 5 things from this category, from these 2 categories right here, of information, which 5 would you pick to introduce yourself to a group of people? Would you talk about the pets you have? Would you talk about how old you are? Would you talk about what's your favorite season of the year? Would you talk about your favorite color? Would you talk about how you spend maybe your lottery winnings if you do that? Would you talk about foods that you don't like, your favorite sport, your favorite movie, your birthstone? Out of the 5, which one of these would you choose to talk about? And there's a reason why I'm asking you, because if you look at that category, you say, okay, this is all I have to choose from, then you're like, okay, now let me look at it more carefully. Which 5 would I really choose from the categories? And why did you choose the 5 that you chose to describe yourself when you're talking to a group of people about who you are? All right. And so listen, what happens is that a lot of times you're faced with different areas of life. So if during the times of your prime time energy, that you will find yourselves at the most alert, and that the most enthusiastic and the most creative. And so, sometimes when you're looking at, certain things in life, going back to describing yourself, and those kinds of things, when you go back over it, it's like, okay, I looked at those categories. I chose the 5 that I chose. Why did I choose that? All right. And then when I look back over my life and I say, okay, what is it, or what time of the day am I full of energy? What's the prime time of my day? I can describe myself, but now I want to go further than that. I want to do more than just look at things that where I would describe myself. I want to look at now some things about myself. I want to say, where is my prime energy at? What time of the day am I really alert? What part of the day where I'm really, full of energy, where I can do just about anything that I want to do. I can really focus on different things and really make it come to life and make things happen. What is that prime part of the day that I have for myself, where I'm alert, where I'm enthusiastic, where I'm creative? What is that? So listen, there's a worksheet for you. Worksheet number 1, my prime time. And what I want you to do with that worksheet, I want you to go to that when you download your worksheet. Hopefully you've downloaded the worksheets. I want you to look at the worksheet, and I want you to graph out your energy. It's your energy graph. I want you to graph out the times throughout the day where you are peak, and I want you to look at that, and I want you to put across the top there on your graph or your times of the day, and I want you to put a mark there. And once you put the mark there, then after that, what you're going to do is you're actually going to draw a diagram. You're going to let's say this. You're going to connect the dots. How you connect the dots after you do something? You're going to connect the dots, and then when you connect the dots, it should give you a graphic picture or view of actually how your energy is used throughout the day. You're going to be able to see your energy peaks, and you're going to be able to see your valleys by the graph. The peaks will be those times during the day when you are likely to be at your best. All right. So you want to make sure that you download the worksheets and be able to follow along. That's going to be very important that you do that. So take some time, pause the video for about 5 or 10 minutes or so, and really do this graph. Do your morning, do your afternoon, do your evening, do night. And then, you're looking at early morning starting at maybe 5 in the morning all the way to 12 noon. Then your afternoon is going to start right around 1 o'clock. It's going to go to 5. Your evening will be 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then your nights will be 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning. So you want to really look at during the morning, what are those peak hours? Are you very energetic at 5 a.m.? Then you put a dot at 5 a.m. Are you kind of high around 7, and then it kind of like drifts down? Maybe around 10 o'clock you start getting kind of low, and then maybe it picks back up around 2, because maybe you take your break, you go to lunch, you get something to eat, you fortify yourself, and so now your energy peak is beginning to rise again. It may slow down again in the evening time. So I want you to really carefully look at that. It may take you a couple of days to really graph this, because you may need to spend a few days to really pay attention and observe what your peak times are if you're not if you don't know what they are already, if you're not used to doing that, or you can't identify what they are. Just take a moment, and then taking those 2 or 3 extra days, all of this is a part of this journey. So again, remember, this is 7 days of time management. So take a day or two where you are intentionally paying attention to what your energy levels are throughout the course of a day. Do it maybe over 2 or 3 days. Maybe make a copy of the worksheet, put Monday, put Tuesday, put Thursday, or you may alternate, say Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Let me take a look at it. Or let me look at Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and let's see what's happening on those days so far as my energy level. And be honest, because once you see where your peak levels are, then you can schedule those projects, those coaching calls, those meetings, those consultation, those contract deals, at the time where you're at your best, because you want to see the outcome differently. So don't schedule a consultation with someone when you're at a low moment, when it's like 11:30 and your mind is thinking about lunch. Don't schedule a consultation that's going to last 90 minutes, because your stomach may start growling. You're thinking about lunch, so your energy is drained. Your energy level is going down to the very low peak, if you will, because you're thinking about, I need to get some food in me so I can become energized again. So if at 11:30, or once you do your graph, when you start seeing that your energy level is low, at 11:30, then you want to make sure maybe 11:30 is when I need to go to lunch, or at least by 11:30 when I start feeling that, 11:45 or so, and I need to maybe leave a little time in there, go to lunch, come back to, you know, have another, like a little 15-minute break in there to really regroup and rethink, because I know that at 1 o'clock I'm going to be up and alert and I'm ready to go again to make things happen. So those things that I want to make sure get done, I put those things at the peak time of my energy. So whatever times those are for you throughout the day, then that's what you need to do. Some people, when they finish the day, they have a peak moment late at night where they stay up and they actually schedule out their next day, you know, or they work on something that maybe down the road they say, you know what, it's quiet, everyone is asleep, let me spend about an hour on just writing out what I want to see happen at this next live event, or what I want to see happen at the next meeting that I have on, you know, with my staff. So pay attention to that. So you want to make sure you do my prime time worksheet number 1, pause this video and take a look at it, or write down how you're going to actually survey or examine your energy levels throughout the day. Again, you may say, hey, I'm gonna do it over the next 3 days, or I'm gonna do it on 3 different days, you know, to be able to discern what really goes on this graph, so I can get an accurate a view of my energy levels. And you want to make sure that wherever your peak levels are, that's where you want to engage your highest activity for the day, is when you can be focused and alert and really paying attention to what it is that you are supposed to be doing at that time. All right, so I'm going to give you some helpful tips, you know, that really can help you really focus on managing your time a lot better. So here, I want you to plan ahead to use your prime energy time for those important tasks that require greater effort and attention. That's why it's important that you do the graph. You want to plan ahead to use your prime energy times for those important tasks that require greater effort and attention. You want to save routine work for your low energy periods. Just as everyday routine things that you go through that you do every day, you want to save your routine work for the low energy periods. And then you want to strive to keep interruptions to a minimum or eliminate them completely during your prime energy times. You don't need to be distracted. You don't need interruptions. If you are pressing toward the mark of the high calling, to be successful, to be good at what you whatever it is that you're doing, to fulfill the call on your life, you need to make sure that your interruptions are at a minimum and that you eliminate distractions completely if possible. And you can also eliminate some interruptions. You know, there are some things that can wait until you finish working on whatever you're working on. So if your peak hours are between 9:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m., you want to make sure that you don't have any interruptions, or you don't cave in to interruptions or give in to them between 9:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Point blank. One of my spiritual fathers said he studies from 8 o'clock a.m. to 12 noon. He breaks at 12 to go to lunch with his wife. So listen, there are some, and they don't bother him unless it's an emergency, between 8 and 12. So if you are going to accomplish in life what your life has been purposed to do, you will have to figure out what your high energy levels are, and that's where you need to, during those times is when you need to focus on exactly what it is that you're supposed to be doing, and getting those really important tasks taken care of, because when you do that, you're giving them attention and you're putting forth the best effort you can possibly put forth when you do that. So when we talk about that, there are 4 steps to being an effective time manager. 4 steps. Number 1, you have to identify your goals. Number 2, you have to set priorities. Number 3, you have to make a plan. And then number 4, you have to monitor your activity. Identify your goals, set priorities, make a plan. And then you want to monitor your activities. Identify your goals. Number 2, set priorities. Number 3, make a plan. And number 4, monitor your activities. This is how you become an effective time manager. And all of these are intentional, right? Nothing just happens by chance. All of these steps are intentional. You have to say to yourself, I am purposefully going to make this happen. I want this to happen. I want to become an effective time manager. I want my day to be productive. I want my week to be productive. I want my month to be productive. I want every moment of my life to count. I want my year to end strong. I want the beginning of the new year to even be stronger, so that when I go through the next year, that I will manage my time correctly and effectively, so that at the end of next year, this time next year, you should see more success in your life, because you identified your goals, you set your priorities, you made a plan, and then you're going to monitor your activity, and that's going to help you stay focused so that you can be strong throughout this year and stronger even next year. All right, so there's another worksheet that goes with becoming an effective time manager, and so that worksheet is worksheet number 2. And so, of course, if you've downloaded them, I want you to actually take a look at worksheet number 2. I'm going to kind of go over it with you right quick. But again, you'll have an opportunity to, when you pause on this video, this training video, you can really look back over it and make it happen for you. So the 4 steps to be an effective time manager worksheet, what you want to do, number 1, you want to actually as number 1 says, identify goals. All right, so that's what you want to do. You want your goals to be very clear, crystal clear, because goals enable you to identify the important tasks, the projects, and then the goals help you to determine what your desired outcome should be. All right, the goal is what you're striving for. So you want to make sure that you identify your goals. They help you to stay motivated. They help you to stay on track. When you don't have goals, or at least a to-do list for your day, then you're at risk of just, really venturing off, from the course of that day. You become distracted easily. You give in to interruptions because you have nothing that you're striving for that particular day. So you want to identify the goals. So number 1 is that's where you want to put what your goals are. All right. Then number 2, you want to set priorities. So the objective of time management is to allocate time more wisely. Okay, so you may not be able to control time, but you really can allocate your time more wisely. That's what it means to manage time. So we can get caught up on semantics and a play on words, and can you control time? And we know we can't control time. Time waits for no one. Just on this video, in the next 2 minutes will show up any second now. So we know that you can't control it, but what you can do is you can actually allocate time more wisely. So in this step, you want to make sure that you're identifying you're identifying priority tasks. What are those things that you must do? All right, these are the things that you must accomplish if you want to reach your goals. So you're going to set your goals, number 1, and then you're going to set the priorities. What do you need to do to actually reach your goals? So when it comes to knowing priorities, there are 2 things that you need to know. Number 1, it gives you something to focus on, so you can develop a plan of action in advance. Okay, it gives you something to focus on, so you can develop a plan of action in advance. And then number 2, it helps you to set up a schedule that effectively utilizes your prime energy times. All right, number 1, it gives you something to focus on, so you can develop a plan of action in advance. And then number 2, it helps you to set up a schedule that effectively utilizes your prime energy times. Everything is going to come back to, when do you work best? What part of the day do you work best? Then number 3, you're going to make a plan. All right. So one of the best ways to waste time is to have no plan or priorities. Point blank. You have nothing striving for that day, you'll waste a lot of time. You'll be in front of the TV. You'll be playing games on your phone, on your tablet. Even on your desktop or laptop computer. You'll be searching the web, not even knowing what you're looking for, just looking around on the web. So one of the best ways to waste time is to have no plan or priorities. Usually people are far less productive without a plan, and they spend time working on things that do not move them forward toward their goals. You have that, the word of God is clear. Habakkuk 2:3 says, write the vision down, make it plain up on tablets, so those that read it can run with it. That includes you. You may have a vision or a calling on your life or a life purpose or something you're striving to do. Unless you put it on paper and put a plan of action in place, you will not reach that. You will not even be motivated to move towards it. But when you see a plan of action, day 1, do this. Day 2, do this. Wednesday, do these things. Thursday, do these things. And it's all leading towards that goal that you have for your life. Then it makes it so much easier, and you stay motivated, you stay energetic, you stay excited about what it is that you are striving to do. Number 4, monitor your activity. Here is where you become aware of everything that's preventing you from accomplishing your plan, your priority task, and ultimately your important goals. So when you monitor your activities, you can be sure that distractions and interruptions are not derailing you. So you have to monitor your activities. What's going on during the course of the day? Here's where you're going to identify those things that are preventing you from accomplishing the plan that you're going to make. It's going to prevent you from prioritizing those tasks. It's going to prevent you from ultimately reaching your goal. So you have to monitor your activity throughout the course of a day, throughout the course of a week. And then later on, as the month closes, you can look back over the entire month. If you keep track of it and begin to discipline yourself. I heard over the years, evangelist Mike Murdoch says it's like this: schedule everything. And when you schedule everything, you will see where your time went. Schedule everything. So when you monitor your activity, be honest with yourself. What are the things what activities did I engage in that got in the way of me reaching my plans, achieving my goal, interrupted my priority task? What are those things? Because once you identify those distractions, then you can eliminate them and get back on track. If you don't eliminate them, it's going to cause you to become derailed. And you're going to be off track, off course. You're going to be distracted. And what's going to happen? Distractions comes to cause you to lose your focus. When you lose your focus, you're not going anywhere because you cannot see clearly, period. When you're out of focus in the natural vision, you have to get a little help. You go to the optometrist, get your eyes examined. They're either going to take care of it by giving you some kind of eye drops that you're going to do over a period of time, or they're going to flat out say you need glasses. And so when you put the glasses on, everything comes into view. You're going to need some help when you get off focus. So if you ever find yourself off focus, don't beat yourself up. Get back on track, even if you have to reach out to somebody and say, help me get back in focus. I'm not seeing clearly the direction that I'm supposed to be going in. I'm not seeing the goal clearly anymore. I need some help to regain my focus so that I can pursue and move toward the mark of the high calling. So you want to make sure. So again, identify your goals, number 1. Number 2, set priorities. Make sure you know what tasks need to be done and when they need to be done. Number 3, make a plan. How are you going to carry these steps out? How are you going to make it happen? Write your plan out. Write your steps out. It's okay if it seems elementary to you. If it causes you to reach the goal, then elementary, my dear Watson, is what you want to say. Get to the goal. And then number 4, monitor your activity. Take a look at what's going on during the course of a day, and be honest with yourself. If you have too many interruptions, that might be a key as to why you are not where you want to be. All right, your interruptions can be something as simple as, or your distraction, or your misuse of time could be something as simple as sleeping too long, not waking up, sleeping to 12 noon. It could be napping throughout the day too many times. It could be something as simple as, again, watching television, watching two-hour movies back to back, and you've done absolutely nothing. I can tell you, I've been there, I've done that before. I've sat down to watch a movie and watched another one. Next thing I know, 4 hours passed, and I had not done anything related to what I needed to be working on. And what I'm doing now, I'm pressing, I'm rushed. I'm trying to catch up the 4 hours that I lost and make 4 hours happen in 2 hours. So then you're fatigued, your energy is drained, you're tired mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You are worn out because you wasted 4 hours during the day. I would rather record the movies and come back later when I've done my work and hit the replay button and watch the movies that way. Simple as that. So there are a number of ways that you can get around, being off course and get around being distracted. Those games on your phone, on your tablets, on your desktops and your laptops, those games are not going anywhere. So again, Mike Murdoch says, schedule everything. So schedule the time that you're going to play games. If you're going to break for lunch and your lunch is usually an hour and a half, and you know you like games, then either bring, if you have an office, your own office, go pick your lunch up or have it delivered. And while you're waiting on lunch to come, play the game, you know, or go to lunch and come back and give yourself about 30 or 40 minutes in there where, you know, it's still lunchtime. And then what do? Play the game. But don't play it during the time that you should actually be working on your goals, when you should actually be pursuing what it is that you want to pursue. So once you have, you know, organized your task and aligned it with your peak energy times, now you can look at the next essential part of time management, which is how to prioritize your time. All right, so you want to make sure that you do this. Again, like I said, for this video, make sure that you pause this video, you stop it, and you don't just rush through the video without becoming engaged in the principles and the strategies that are being taught throughout this video. So here would be a good time to really stop and go, you know, either rewind it, if you will, or go back and watch it from the beginning up to this point again, because you're not ready to move to prioritizing your time until you first do these things. You have 2 worksheets that you need to do, and you really need to really focus right here so that you can see where your energy level is going. I want to come so you can see me. I want you to really focus on your energy graph. Where are your peak hours? Where are your peak hours throughout today, throughout the course of a day? You know, I want you to pay attention to that. Then I want you to really look at the steps that it takes to be an effective time manager. That's where people are missing it. They don't manage the time well. They don't allocate the time for the course of a day. Let's just take one day. They don't allow for time effectively. They don't do it well. Okay, they don't say, you know, 8 to 12 I'm studying. You know, they just wake up in the course of the day and they figure out, well, today I'm gonna do this first, then I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Write it out. Schedule everything. So if you know that you are doing business development, let's say that you're doing personal or business development early in the morning, this is where you read articles and you read newsletters that you get maybe in your inbox, you know, related to your profession, to your career. You know, this is what you do early morning to kind of stay abreast of what's happening in your industry. And you know that you do that, let's say from 8:30 to 10:30, then schedule that on your calendar. 8:30 to 10:30, personal development, career development, business development, ministry development, whatever it is. Schedule it from 8:30 to 10:30, and these are the times that you're actually learning more about what it is that you're doing. So make sure that you do that. All right, you want to get this down first. Get this information down first, and then move on throughout this training video. Do these 2 worksheets. Really be honest with yourself. If you do these worksheets and you look back over the year, you will know exactly what took place with your time and whether or not you were an effective time manager. And don't beat yourself up. Make a commitment. My commitment to finish strong this year is to become a better or a more effective time manager, so that my days are days where every moment counts. And again, I'm not talking about being fanatical about it. I'm talking about making every moment of your peak day, of your energy, your peak energy time count. There will be some overlapping, I do understand that, but you need to get in the discipline and the habit of making every day count, where you're not getting up on Tuesday regretting that you didn't do anything on Monday. You're not waking up on Thursday looking at from Monday through Wednesday, you didn't hardly do anything. If you map it out, create a plan, and make it happen and monitor everything, then you will see where you're falling short, but you will also see where you are progressively moving forward. All right, so let's continue on. I know you probably paused it for a minute. So we're going to talk about how to prioritizing your time. All right, so you need a master to-do list. I know we've heard about this over and over again, that you need a to-do list, and you've heard people tell you, and I agree, you can get, you know, they still make all these fancy out of sight planners that include to-do lists and color coding and all these kind of things. But you really need a master to-do list. You're right. So I want you to do this. I want you to see on the screen the to-do list. All right, and I want you to really think about what is the purpose of a to-do list. What is it? And a lot of people do lists, they jot it down because they don't want to forget things they're supposed to do that day, or the things that they're supposed to do that week, and they scratch it out as they go through it, and once it's completed, and all of those things. For what we're talking about, I really want you to see it as managing your time effectively, and that when you do that, it entails identifying goals, it entails breaking those goals down into tasks, and then prioritizing those tasks. And so that's what you're doing here with your to-do list. It requires you first to create a thorough to-do list of your tasks so that you can prioritize them. So again, you're going to write them down, and then you're going to go back and prioritize them. So it needs to be thorough. Don't skim over anything. Don't leave anything out. It needs to be thorough. If you need a second pair of eyes on it, if you have someone in your life that is supporting you and encouraging you to be successful and do great things, then once you create that to-do list, let them take a look at it and see maybe if there's anything that you forgot or left off unintentionally, so that you can add it, so that when you're going back through to prioritize your list, your to-do list, then you have everything on there that you could think about that you need on there. All right, so because when you prioritize, then you're making sure that you accomplish the most important task first, and then you bring it on down. Okay, so I think we all know that about how to prioritize a list, how to write a to-do list. Code it, if you will. A, B, C, and then somewhere in your planner or somewhere in your notes or whatever, you identify what A, B, and C means to you. If A means a very important task, then put that somewhere in your notes. A dash important task. B, medium low priority task, and then C, task that can wait. Something like that. You be creative. Create your own. Create a system for yourself that works for you. Let your personality and your uniqueness show up right here. And here's where you become creative, and you never know what could come out of your creativity. Design your own priority scheduling type system, or your own priority system. Make it fit what you're doing, so it can resonate with you, and so it can move you and motivate you to push forward to do what it is that's going to be on this list to do. All right, so you want to make sure that you do that. So again, here's another worksheet. It's called the master. There's another worksheet that's in your handouts. I'm getting stuck. In your handout, it's called the master to-do list. It's a worksheet number 3, things to do today. So you want to make sure that you do that. Okay, you want to, and the worksheet is 2 pages for number 3. Okay, so I want you to pay attention. It's not on one sheet. It's 2 sheets for worksheet number 3. 2 sheets for worksheet number 3. All right. And so what you're going to do, you're going to do step 1. You're going to create a master to-do list of your task. All right. And what you're going to do is, when you're creating that list, you're going to use your daily planner if you have one. You're going to rank the items of importance, and then you're going to include the routine tasks that you have to do. So again, when you get to working on this worksheet, you may want to stop, take a look at the worksheet, and then actually come back to the video when you've done the worksheet. It might be a day from now, 2 days from now. You remember, this is a challenge and a challenge. So you have 7 days to do this. So then on on the step 2 of your worksheet, you have to indicate what can be delegated. All right. So you have to identify those tasks that could be removed from your list because they could be delegated to someone else. You cannot do everything yourself. You will need help. I don't care what you're doing. You're going to need help. So when you go back through that list you create, you want to be able to identify those things that can be delegated. So like I was saying, you have A, B, and C. You may want to add D to your priority. And D for you could stand for delegate out. Okay? All right? So you might put D/O, delegate out. So be creative. These are the tasks that you're going to delegate out to someone else. You might outsource them, or you may find someone who's actually helping you to accomplish your goals, and let them do the task for you. Okay? And this somebody you trust, somebody that you know is going to perform the work for you. somebody that can come back and give you a really good report of what, that they accomplished that task. So that's step number 2. What can be delegated? Then number 3, categorize remaining tasks. So if you have anything left, you got the things that are very important, you have the things that need to be delegated out, and then now you have the remaining tasks. All right. So with the remaining tasks, if you have any remaining tasks, you want to make sure that you go back over them carefully to make sure that there is nothing remaining that is of high importance. And that's a way that you can take a look at that. So let's talk about that. So when you are categorizing your task and you want to say, okay, listen, I have those things that are urgent tasks, and those are the things that cause you to react. Okay, you stop what you're currently doing and you address the task instead. So there are some things that are going to be urgent. Remember I said you're going to have some things, some crisis situations, some things that are beyond your control, but they have to be dealt with at that moment. So you're going to have urgent tasks. All right, then you have important tasks. All right, and then those important tasks are the ones that lead you towards your overall life's goals, which typically require planning, organization, and initiative. All right, and those are the ones that you want to be able to manage well. All right, you have the urgent tasks, but then you also have the important tasks, and those are the tasks, the important tasks that should be the ones that are prioritized on your to-do list, because these are the ones that lead you towards your overall life's goal, which typically, again, as you see on the slide, require planning, organization, and initiative. You cannot be a successful time manager without these 3 things, period. So this may be a skill that you need to develop. You may need to read a little bit more on it, but put it into practice no matter where you are. These principles and strategies that you're learning from this video, begin to implement them in your everyday life, in your business life, in ministry, in your career. And then increase your learning, read more about time management, or I'm guarantee you on the web somewhere, there's somebody who has a time management newsletter that will email you weekly or every couple of days with information and tips on time management. Do what you need to do to perfect, and what I mean by perfect, to mature this area of your life, this area of your professional career, so that you can make every moment count for your journey that you are going through. All right, so let's talk about how to prioritize. Remember I was talking about A, B, and C, and again, be creative. You can do it whatever way that you want to do it. So A could be important and urgent, and sometimes these may fall in the crisis kind of category, or maybe not, but if you do have a crisis, you can actually put it in this category. So this zone represents tasks that are important and they also need to be done immediately. So examples would be, maybe you're a college student, it could be term paper deadline, taxes are due, your car breaks down, so you got to get it fixed, medical emergency, maybe you have children and the principal calls from school, or you have unexpected work projects that are due today. These are the crisis kind of urgent things that need to be done. B is important but not urgent. All right, and in A, every day of your life should not be full with. You should not have A's every day of your life. With all of these urgent and crisis situations coming up. You might have a season of that, but every day should not have these crisis kind of elements that you're dealing with. Then B would be important but not urgent. All right, so this is goals and planning. All right, this is the zone that represents the tasks that are important but do not need to be done right away. So examples would be weekly planning. All right, could be long-term planning, exercising, family time, hobbies, studying, meditating. These are important, but they're not urgent. All right. Then C, you have urgent but not important. All right. And so these are interruptions. They're urgent, but it's not important. When it comes to your life purpose, when it comes to the goals that you're trying to attain, somebody else's emergency is not necessarily yours. Okay, so remember that. You can't solve everybody else's problems and then wonder why you haven't moved forward in life, because you spent time trying to solve or resolve an issue that probably has nothing to do with you. All right. So this zone represents tasks that have urgency to them, but at the same time are not important. So examples would be phone calls, text messages, some emails, co-workers asking for a favor, your mom drops by unannounced and needs help. Your dad calls for something. Your sisters and brothers call for something. Your best friend calls for something. It may be urgent to them, but at the same time, it's not necessarily important, as it relates to the goals that you're trying to attain. If you are someone who finds it difficult to say no to some of these situations, especially to family members, then you really have to resolve within yourself how you're going to handle that. So if you're working on a project and mom, brother, sister, dad, nieces, nephews that are important, that you are close to, they call and they have quote an urgency that something's going on that's urgent to them, you have to decide within yourself how you're going to handle that. So are you going to drop everything, and go run to that, or are you going to find a way to get to a stopping point on whatever you're working on and then go see about whatever the issue may be for them? You really have to find a way to respond to it, and you have to find a way to respond to it that is not offensive to them, but more importantly, you have to find a way to respond to it that does not interfere or totally distract you from what you're supposed to be working on. So if when they're talking to you, if it sounds like something that you can resolve in 15 or 20 minutes, then you may say, okay, you know what? Let me move my break up and let me go ahead and drop you off at work, and then I can come on back and get back to what I was doing. But then in that car ride, that 15 or 20 minutes it takes to get them to their job, then you need to say, you know what? This is the peak time of the day when I'm working on my business. So in the future, if you're going to need a ride, I need you to either tell me in advance or you have to call someone else, because of this time that you're calling me right here, I'm usually working on my business and I don't take a break until such and such time. And the more you say certain things, the more they get used to it. And guess what? They'll look at the time and say, she's working on her business right now. She's probably not going to be able to stop. Let me see. Maybe I can call somebody else. Or maybe she can pick me up from work. But until you get them in the habit of to really seeing how serious you are about what you're working on, they won't even think that way. So you're going to have to train them to think that way. All right. So then you have the not urgent and not important. All right. So these are distractions. This is the zone that represent tasks which are neither urgent nor important. Example: watching television, mindlessly surfing the web, playing video games, scrolling through social media, gambling if that's what you do, shopping sprees, all of these things, they're not urgent and they're not important. You don't need any of this to reach your goals. You don't need any of this to make your day count, period. You just don't need any of these. Some of these things, watching TV is okay, mindlessly surfing the web, playing video games, those things, searching through social media. I don't gamble, if that's what you do, not good, but some people do it. I just don't do it, and then shopping sprees. I don't do shopping sprees well, so I go shopping when I need to go shopping, but I don't go out there just to waste time. There are times when I stroll through there. If you have something in the evening, time in the evening or throughout the day, and you just want to do something different, you might go window shopping, but shopping sprees are those things that you see the ladies with like 5 or 10 bags on each arm, so those things are not urgent and they are not important. So you don't want to engage in those things because they will distract you and they will cause you to not make the best use of your time during the course of the day. You have another worksheet number 4. So if you have your worksheet number 4, I want you to take a look at it. All right, and this is the time management grid. All right. So when you look at the time management grids, this is a powerful way to think about how to prioritize your tasks. All right, there is a constant pull, if you will, on your time between tasks that are important and tasks that are urgent. All right, the problem with important tasks is that they often do not have to be done right away, whereas your urgent task calls for immediate attention. All right, so that urgent means you got to deal with something right now. All right, so as a result, sometimes you seem to be busy, but you feel like you aren't achieving anything for any real significance, because sometimes those important tasks and those quite urgent tasks seem to kind of bump heads sometimes at times. And so, when you look at the time management grid that's going to be in worksheet number 4, you can look at your tasks from the criteria of both important and urgency and how to best prioritize them. Again, like I said, you shouldn't have a life full of crisis. You shouldn't have a life full of urgency, but learn how to prioritize them or deal with them when they do occur, so that you don't become completely distracted from the important task that you must be doing. All right. So what I would like for you to really do is take the items that you have prioritized on your master to-do list. Once you've done that, all right, and then I want you to place them on the time management grid in the appropriate categories. All right. So once you do your to-do list, I want you to come to the worksheet number 4, and I want you to actually, where it says crisis and you see tasks, I want you to put those tasks from your to-do list that goes under each one of these categories, under crisis, goals and planning, interruption, distractions. All right. So I want you to place them on the grid. All right. And so then I want you to go back and I want you to actually review that. All right. And I want you to look at that. And I want you to make a decision in each one of those categories. Look at it and see. This tells you what's going on throughout the course of your day, the course of your week. This is going to tell you, what's happening in your life. All right. So then, once you do that, I want you to really think about, once you use this time management grid and you really do follow the steps and do it exactly like I'm saying, then I want you to really think about, when you see your task in front of you where you've written them out like that, is this type of grid helpful for you? And you're going to find that it is helpful because it puts it in front of you. It outlines it strategically, saying exactly, what's going on. All right. So I want you to really think about that. Is it, how clear is it for me to see this grid, time management grid, and see my task on the grid, and how is that working for me? How is that working? So I want you to take a moment and just look at the grid just for a moment. We're going to take a power pause right here because I want you to really take a really good look at this grid. So just take a minute and read over it again right quick, and then we'll come right back to it. Okay, so those are what I call power breaks. I hope you had an opportunity to actually look at the grid. Again, your worksheet, be sure to download the worksheets because you see it here on the video, but the worksheet, you'll have it directly in front of you. And once you follow the steps, again, I want you to really think about if having a time management grid is helpful for you, because if so, make copies of this worksheet and keep them somewhere so that if you ever feel like you're not using making the best use of your time, you could always come back to this time management grid and really fill this grid out again to see what's happening during the course of your day, during the course of your week. So a lot of these, with the worksheets, make more than one copy, because you make come back through them throughout the course of the rest of this year, the top of next year. Use them, use them, use them, you know, because this will help you to become an effective time management. And when you're looking at this time management grid, I want you to really think about why it's important to rank the tasks that you place in those particular categories, you know, and why some of the tasks are in the same category. Take a look at it. You make this work for you. You know, this type of thing is not hard, but it does take intentional effort. And so I want you to make sure that you're making it work for you. This is very, very important. So now I got some things, you know, hopefully you're taking notes as well. There are some things some key points that I want to make sure that you grasp and understand as we're talking about this particular thing. You know, when you look at this time management grid, let's spend a few minutes right here. When you look at the time management grid, all right, it can help you to be more effectively, to more effectively schedule the tasks you need to complete and to use your time more wisely. So that's why you need to really take time to do it. It can help you to schedule the tasks you need to complete. That's very important. All right, so I know some of this stuff I may be repeating myself, but faith comes by hearing and hearing by. So I want you to hear it over and over again, because I want you to know that when you use some of these worksheets, they're going to help you to position yourself exactly the way you need to be positioned. So don't neglect the opportunity to actually take a few days to really begin to train yourself to become disciplined in this area. You know, when you complete, let's say your important task, then when you do that, you have this feeling of like this fulfilling type of feeling. You know, every time you complete something, especially related to what it is that you're trying to do in life, there's always some fulfillment and some excitement that comes as a result of, you know, completing that task. So you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that joy of knowing that you've done something. So keep track of what you're doing. Okay. You want to focus on all these quadrants on this time management grid. You don't want to spend too much time on interruptions and distractions, but you must be aware of them. So you want to make sure that you know about all of these. If you discipline yourself in all of these areas, you're going to make the best use of your time daily. So spend a few minutes to do that. So far, you know, we've explored the need to organize your task around your times of peak energy, which is the first essential part of effective time management. Then we dove into the need to prioritize your time around those tasks, because that's the most important thing that you need to do. And then next, and as we close out this video training, we're going to look at the third essential part of time management, which is to eliminate distractions. All of us have encountered distractions. I encountered them. You know, phone calls, emails, text messages, you name it, they show up. You know, so which we want to eliminate the distraction. But before we do, I want to, you know, simply tell you about something that's coming up. You know, stay connected with me. Stay in the group on Facebook, and be on the lookout. We got some great and awesome specials that we're going to offer to help you in every area that you need, almost every area, if you will, to help you to actually begin to do this better, to manage your time better, along with some other things to help you to finish strong this year. And so stay connected, because we're going to offer them, and we're going to do them at a very special price. I mean, we're going to have things as low as $2, you know, and as high as maybe $100 and something. So we're going to reduce the price on a lot of things, resources and trainings that can help you to do better, and we're going to offer them to you as a bonus, as a special gift for being connected to Ginger London Ministries, being connected to the Diamond Coaching Academy, being connected to the Diamond Coaching Success, the Facebook group, the Facebook page, all of those connections that we have. We're going to make sure that we close out this strong by making an impartation into your life through offering special promotions at a price that nobody can refuse. You know, who would pass up a $2 item or a $5 opportunity or a $15 or even a $25? Make an investment. So we're going to make it make that offer to you shortly in different ways, so that you cannot use money as an excuse for not investing in yourself, so that you can be much better before the year closes, and even better for at the top of the new year. So stay connected, be mindful of that. We are going to offer some special promotions and some things that we're going to do for you to help you out to close out this year. So let's move on. We're going to go to the segment number 3, where we're going to actually be talking about and finish on out eliminating distractions. You know, and you see the sign on the PowerPoint that says warning. This sign is only a distraction. I'm sure you see eliminated distractions on the right, but your eyes immediately went to the big red and white sign. You know, warning. This sign is only a distraction, and that's what happens sometimes. We are focused on the right thing to do, and something on the left shows up that gets our attention because it's loud, it's bright, it's, you know, brilliant, if you will. When I say brilliant, I mean, you know, it's shining, it has a brilliance to it, or something that attracts you or draws you to it because it's, you know, it's bigger, if you will, or louder. My mom said when they were growing up in the country, there was a saying that some of the elders had throughout the year, or not throughout the year. There's a saying that the elders had that was like, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Now, it's not that the other wheels on the wagon didn't need oil, but it was the one that was making the most noise that got everybody's attention. And so because it was the loudest, it was the wheel that got the oil first. So it's the same thing with distractions. You know, they're big. Even though you're working on the right thing to do, the distractions come in and causes all that noise, and now all the attention is on the distraction because it's the loudest thing moving. It's the loudest sound in the room. You know, it's the loudest of everything. It's not the most important, it's just the loudest. You know, and so I want you to think about that. So when you're talking about how to eliminate distractions, remember that. So we're going to continue on. All right. So let's look at all right. During your life, have you ever been distracted by something? Okay, if you look at the examples that's on the slide, you're going down that straight road, right? And then all of a sudden, something comes, and it's a U-turn, or something comes and it turns you completely in a whole different direction. Or on the left-hand side, you can see where you get to this like fork in the road. You're like, which way do I go now? You know, but the way to go is right down the middle. Just stay straight. Don't veer to the right. Don't veer to the left. Don't make U-turns. Keep straight on the path. If you are on the right path, if you've been doing the right things, got everything planned, organized, laid out, don't let distractions come in and pull your attention. You might see a distraction, but you don't want to focus on a distraction, because sometimes they're hard to not notice. So don't let something come in and cause it that, if you see that green sign with the white arrows that are split like that, don't let a distraction come in and causes you to be split in your decision making. You know, like, I don't know which way to go. You know, now this is showing up, I don't know what to do now. You know, or don't let something come in that curves you around, like the yellow sign, you know, that takes you off and it takes you into a curve that you don't even know which way you're going. You don't know what is this? You know, what direction is that leading you into? Or another one that turns you back around, going in the opposite direction that you just came from. So don't let distractions show up to veer you off and causes you to be indecisive. Don't let them come and steer you in the wrong directions or revert you backwards, heading back into in the direction that you're coming from. You've already covered that ground. So don't let distractions come in and do that. Don't let them come in, period. But certainly don't let them come in and have a part in interfering rather with what you're doing. Don't let them come in and do that. All right, so you want to take a look at those signs again, because I know all of us can say that it's during the course of our lives somewhere something like this has occurred or happened, and we're like, wow, you know, I don't know what went wrong here. And when you look back over it, what went wrong was that we allowed this distraction to come in and take over. One way or the other, it came in and just took over everything. So you don't want that to happen. So I want you to look at this picture. I want you to take a good look at this picture. All right? Look at it real carefully. All right? So here's this image. All right? It's a black and white image, and I want you to look at it. All right? Now, if you focus on the black part of the image, just the black part of the image, all right, then you're going to see a chalice, right? But if you focus on the white part of the image, just focus on the white part now, then you're going to see the profiles of two faces opposite each other. Do you see that? Right? If you focus on the black part, you're only going to see the chalice. But if you focus on the white part, you'll see two faces opposite each other. So if you look right here, you see the two noses. See the nose? And then you see the lips right here. And then you see the chin right here. So if you focus just on the white part, go around here. Mouth, nose, where the eyes will be, forehead. Same thing on the opposite side. Forehead, nose, mouth, chin, and going down to the neck. And so there you have it. And if you focus on that part of it. So I want you to look at that carefully, because that's what happens sometimes, you know. When you focus on one image, the other images fades out, all right? So that's, and vice versa. If you focus on the white part of the image, the black is going to fade out. But you're only going to start seeing the white, you know, the silhouettes, if you will, or the face profiles, you know, when you're looking at that. So, you know, the mind is powerful, all right? So the mind is capable of seeing two different things. It can only see one of them at a time, though, but we can see two different things. If you focus on the black, you see the chalice. If you focus on the white, you see the two profiles, you know. So what happens when you focus, or let me ask you a question. Let me slow down. What happens when you switch your focus back and forth between the two things that are competing for your attention? What happens when you do that? Right? There are several things that's going to happen. You're going to lose focus on the other one. You're not going to place the importance on the right one. Like I said, back to that squeaky wheel, the one that's talking the loudest, that's what's going to get the attention. So when you focus, when you switch your focus back and forth, something is going to get left undone. Something is not going to get managed well. Something is not going to get handled properly. You're going to miss it somewhere. But if you focus on only one thing at a time, then what does that do for you? It helps you to progressively move forward. All right? You may be working on two projects, what seems like at the same time. But I guarantee you, if you got Project A and Project B that's going on at the same time, you cannot work on both of them at 10 o'clock a.m. You can't be working on A and B and think that something's not going to get undone. You have to work on Project A from 10 to 12. Take lunch and then come back at 1:30 and work on Project B from 1:30 to 3:30. So that's how you can still work on two projects, but you're not going to be able to do them at the exact same time. You're going to create a problem for yourself if you do that. All right? So when you have your attention going back and forth between two different things, there's a cost that's associated with that. So every time you switch your attention back and forth, it takes extra intellectual effort to regain your previous state of concentration. You work on Project A and you keep switching back and forth between A and B between the hours of 10 and 12. What's going to happen is you're literally going to have to put more intellectual effort into making it happen. You got to remember which one you're working on at what time you're working on at the exact same time. You don't need to do that. And when you do that, what happens is you often fail to recognize that the time it takes to regain your concentration is a part of the total time that you have lost as a result of being distracted. You don't want to be distracted. You don't want to lose time because of distraction, even when you think you're doing the right thing, even when you think you're focused on the right thing, all right? So this little exercise here shows you that a little distraction and little interruptions will put you in a place where you will have some major time management issues. So you have to learn what to do with them. You can't get taken aback by them because they show up when you least expect them. Again, there are some things that are going to show up that you have no choice but to solve the issue. Resolve the crisis or deal with the urgency of whatever is going on. All right. So I want you to really think about that. Look at that picture again. Remember, don't be distracted between the two things. All right. So listen, here's something else. Straying from your goals. Look at this man in this picture. He's daydreaming. I mean, he's laid back. He's in the field. His mind is just on, he's thinking about whatever he's thinking about. He's daydreaming. How many of you ever just spend some time just daydreaming? I know I have. I mean, I've had this great idea. Before I knew it, I was just off in the third heaven somewhere. I had stopped thinking about the idea and was thinking about something totally different. Literally daydreaming. The motivation behind time management, being effective with it, is to get more done within a short amount of time. All right? That's the motivation. All right? The third essential part of time management is to eliminate distractions, which may be very time consuming. You don't want anything that's going to eat your time up, that's going to take you away from achieving the goals that you want to achieve. Distractions of all kinds will decrease your concentration and keep you from completing important tasks. I'm going to say that one again. Distractions of all kinds will decrease your concentration and keep you from completing important tasks. All right? So you want to make sure that you identify these distractions that come up in your life. You want to identify them. You want to make sure, write them down on the worksheets, on the grid. Make sure that you identify them. So I want to, we're going to stop here. It's a lot we could say about time management, but this is enough to get you started and get you going. I want you to make sure that you don't stray away from your goals, that you really stay focused with what you're doing. I want you to make sure that you use your time wisely. I want you to realize that time is very important to us, very important to you, and I want you to make sure that you're utilizing your time well. That's the purpose of the Royal Exchange, is to come together and exchange information, exchange resources that will help you to finish strong this year, help you to begin strong next year. And time management, being effective in time management, is one of them. And so stay connected in the group, in the Facebook group. I'm going to post some websites that you can go to for time management that will help you with developing the discipline, if you will, of time management. And so I'm excited that you're on this journey. Again, remember, play this video over and over again. Don't rush through. You may watch it all the way through and then go back and take each segment one at a time and work on your worksheets, so that when you're working on your worksheets, you are pondering and meditating on what you just learned from that previous section, so that you can begin to implement and apply it to everyday life, to your career, to ministry, to your business, to your family life, wherever you're trying to improve, wherever you're trying to build strength. Make sure that you use these principles, because even in everyday personal life, you can use time management. If you know that you're supposed to be at a softball game with your kid, your 7-year-old, on Saturday at 10 a.m., well, you don't want to be at the hairdresser at 10 a.m., or you don't want to be at the barbershop at 10 a.m. You want to be at the softball game or the baseball game at 10 a.m. So learn how to manage your time well, for every area of your life, so that every moment will count for you in your life, and that you are successful all the time throughout the course of your life with utilizing every moment that God has given us, and that making the best use of every minute. And again, I'm not talking being fanatical. I'm simply talking about recognizing when you are at your best. What's your peak energy levels, and what do you do with that peak energy time? What can you do to make your life better, to make your business better, to make ministry better? What can you do? What is your assignment in life? How do you carry that out in such a way that you are making the best use of every moment of time? I'm going to leave you with this key thing. You've heard me say it before on some other teachings. And, I love evangelist Mike Murdoch. I love Dr. Murdoch's what he says this all the time: schedule everything. And I'm going to leave you with that. Schedule everything. Until you get in the habit of becoming an effective time manager, make sure that you schedule everything. Schedule your breaks, schedule your lunch, schedule your going to the grocery store, schedule going to pick up clothes from the cleaner, schedule everything. Schedule your walk through the park, schedule your workout time, schedule movie time. Whatever it is, schedule everything. Don't leave anything unscheduled. It helps you to develop the discipline of allocating your time in such a way that you're making the best use of your time in life. Again, I'm not asking you to be fanatical. I'm asking you to be a better manager of your time. I'm Minister Ginger London. Thank you so much for joining me. This is one of the longer training sessions, but this is to cover you for 7 days. So make sure you go back, do the worksheets, download them, make copies of them, put them in a folder, and go back over and over again until your day looks exactly like the way you want it to look, until your week looks like you want it to look, until your month is scheduled the way that you want it to look, making the best use of your time and making every moment count in your life with the time that you've been allocated and given by God. Take care. Have a blessed and awesome day. Again, I'm Minister Ginger London, your challenge host and the owner of GingerLondon.com. God bless you. Take care.